In Canada, I had a very strong walk with the Lord. I knew that He wanted me to do what I'm doing, but I was a Sunday go to church person, loved God, loved Jesus. My faith now, since I've been in that country, has gone from being a little small to being huge. I have watched my God work, and I've watched Him do amazing, amazing, amazing things. God has answered a lot of my prayers since I've been there, and there have been times when I'm thinking, this is not going to work. I don't see how this is going to work. There's been several, but I think back specifically to when I took a little baby. T-Luke's story before it came to my hands was the fact that he came from a town called Gonaive, and we had a flood. We had a really bad flood in the valley. Our mission got flooded. And Gonaive was far worse. The flooding was so bad that people had to leave their homes and climb to the roof of their little houses. There was a lady in Gonaive who was very pregnant. She was 6.5 months pregnant. And she was up on her roof with her husband, and I was told 3 sons. They had to stay there overnight and day for a while for the waters to recede. And during the night, the floodwaters rose, and the lady, the pregnant lady, saw her husband and her children washed off the roof and drowned. She went into very early labor, and somebody on a roof close by had a cell phone, and they were able to call the police, who called the United Nations in St. Mark. She gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. He was born quite early, and then the mother named him, and then she ran away from the hospital. So I went to see the baby, and the baby came home with me. That baby was 7 weeks old and still only 3¼ pounds. And he was losing instead of gaining. So I was told the baby can't suck a nipple, the baby can't take milk properly. Do what you can. So I went home and I got the little medicine syringes, and I fed him with that many, many, many times a day. And he started to grow, and he started to develop, but he couldn't sit up, and I'm thinking, okay. And then he couldn't see. And I'm thinking, I'm a mother from before, and I know that usually around 6 weeks there's a little smile. By 2 months, they're definitely smiling. And they're tracking, looking at you. Well, my baby couldn't do that. And I'm thinking, God, what do I do with this baby? Can I bring up a deaf and blind child? God, can you give him his vision? Can you give him his hearing, God? Can you just make this child to be a normal child? And I was having doubts. I was having doubts for a short while that this child would ever see, ever hear, and ever walk. We got into Port-au-Prince to the medical clinic, and then we sat there, and the doctor walked in, and he said, "Bonjour, madame." "Good morning, madam," in that tone of voice. He said, "What can I do for you?" And I said, "Oh, doctor, I'd like you to examine my baby, please. I would like you to tell me what you find out what's wrong with him, and then tell me in which direction to go." He said, "Madam, just throw him away." He said, "If this baby is not seeing or hearing at this age, over 4 months, then he will never see, he will never hear, he will never walk. Madam, he will never talk, he will never learn. And madam, if you want to help somebody in my country, then you go find one that matters. You find one that can be helped, and you help that child. I was very upset. I was determined he would not see me cry. So I let the anger instead, and I stood up to him and I said, "Now, doctor, you listen to me now. Let me tell you that this baby will see, he will hear, he will walk, he will talk, he will learn, he will go to school, and he will speak a minimum of 2 languages, or hopefully 3. And doctor, if this child lives long enough, and I live long enough, and you live long enough, we will walk back in your office, sir, and he will shake your hand, and he will speak to you clearly, and he will understand everything you say." Then I walked out and really slammed the office door. Then I went to my truck, and then I sobbed. I spent a lot of time in a prayer closet in my bedroom, and a lot of time on my face for that baby. And I must admit that I had some human doubts about it. But then my faith started to grow, and I started saying, "God, I believe you can do this. God, I believe you can do this, God. I have to believe, and I'm praying in belief, and I'm believing." And I started believing in my prayer. And I got every worker. They had no choice but come to the top of the roof on the 3rd floor and get on their knees and pray 30 minutes every day. And I said, "Pray believing that this baby's going to see and hear. And he's going to walk, and he's going to talk, and he's going to learn." And God did it. He did the miracle. And he made my baby see at 4 months, and he made him hear at 5 months, and he made him walk between age 3.5. And he did his preschool, 3 years of preschool, grade 1, 2, 3, and 4 in French and Creole in our own school. And then this child is now doing homeschooling, all in English. He did grade 5 in homeschooling last year, and he's doing grade 6 in homeschooling this year. And he learns well, and he doesn't miss a thing of what he sees and what he hears. And I'm very proud of this child. It was my son, the little one whose mother had to be flown out to give birth.